So our next speaker is Lissette Dorsey, and Lissette Dorsey is a registered nurse who have been a registered nurse for over 20 years, with over 20 years of experience in various areas of the healthcare spectrum. Her nursing experience consists of hospital and community-based settings. She began her career as an LPN, primarily working with the elderly in nursing homes. She progressed to a hospital setting as an RN, where she developed a strong foundation for med-surg. She later branched into procedure areas such as TEE, trans, trans,
Esophageal.
say it, Lissette,
Esophageal.
transesophageal, and what's the other one?
Echocardiogram.
Okay. And EP, which is electrophysiology, IR, interventional radiology, and PIRR, post-interventional recovery. She has also worked in the community as a visiting nurse and IV infusionist. In 2020, she published her book, Wear Your Hat with Excellence, which is a pocketbook for nurses that is packed with tips and inspirational ways that lead to a productive day. She also became an entrepreneur. In 2020, she launched her own business called Dorsey Uniforms, an online nursing store that provides professional quality, comfortable scrubs and accessory for nurses. And let me say that I had the honor and privilege of helping Lissette start her own business by building her website for her and maintaining her website at dorseyuniforms.com. And so, you know, I've been working closely with Lissette in helping her in the success of her business for the last 2 years. So I'm really appreciative and proud of that. She has a passion for holistic nursing, which continues as dealing with the whole person, which is vital to healing, which came from many of the home remedies she learned from her mom growing up. Her study in holistic health began at Medgar Evers College, seminars, classes, workshop, and has continued to this day. So now I will bring you to the stage, Lissette Dorsey, who will present her presentation of home remedies for COVID. Lissette, floor is yours.
Thank you, Kenyatta. I would just like to say thank you for having me for this important topic for our community. I would like to thank you, and I would like to thank all the panelists. And I would just like to thank Graham for his presentation. It was really great. Everything ties in when it comes to health. And a few things stood out to me because number one, we have to invest in our own health because health is a business. The healthcare system is a business. So if we want to be healthy, we have to take command and control of our own bodies. We have to do the research like you guys have been saying, which is important. So anything that you hear that you on this panel today that you're not familiar with, do look it up, do the research. Graham went over a lot of different vitamins and different herbs that if you're not familiar with, look it up, do the research. You know, that's what it's about with our community. He also pointed out also a lot of times they have us going to these expensive stores, and like he said, some of these stores, these are non-GMO foods. We have to educate ourselves about that as well. So really good stuff. I'm going to be presenting on COVID. This whole health thing also is a very broad spectrum. You can't cover everything that you would like to in one presentation because there's so much to health, you know. So I'm going to just go over some home remedies for the pandemic, basically what we're going through now. This is for educational purposes, and that can help along with with the care that you're under from your doctor. This is not to replace the care that your doctor's given you. This is solely for educational purposes. So right now I'm going to talk about the definitions of the cold, the flu, and the coronavirus. The common cold is a contagious viral infection of the upper respiratory tract, usually called by the rhinovirus. The influenza is different to that in the sense that it's viral, but it usually attacks the respiratory or the intestinal tract. Now, the coronavirus is a family of viruses that include several types causing acute respiratory illnesses. That's why with COVID, you would see people have different effects of it because it's a family. So there's different strains and some are more detrimental than others. So with that said, and with the impact of what's going on with COVID and even the cold and the flu and just in general, sometimes we don't even realize what's in our kitchen. Sometimes it's not about, we have the basic, we have things that we don't even know the value and the power that's in some of these foods that we have in our own kitchen because we've just taken it for granted because we haven't been taught about what these foods do. So I just want to go over a few of them that can help with healing. So one of those foods that I'm sure everyone here is familiar with is lemon. And we usually have lemon juice, and we usually have, which the actual lemon is much healthier. But lemon cleanses the liver and is able to make more enzymes out of fresh lemon. It's said that if you drink a cup of lemon in warm water every day for 90 days, you'll cleanse your liver. It's also a preservative. It's an antibacterial for the body. It's also good for cancer. And it lowers blood pressure. And it cleans the toxins out of your body. So that's why if you have lemon water every morning for 9 days, you'll cleanse your liver. It's recommended though that you drink it with a straw because it can cause damage to the tooth enamel. It's also increase your good cholesterol. It's also a good mouthwash because it kills bacteria. And that's usually why sometimes when we go out to eat or, they usually give you lemon with your food because, you'll put it over your salad or whatever you're eating and it kills bacteria. So lemon is very powerful. Natural antibiotics. So onion, and I'm sure all of us have onions in our home. Onions is a natural antibiotic. It's good for the heart and the blood. It lowers the blood pressure and cholesterol. Onion is also good for inflammation. It's also good for prostate. Men that have prostate that may be inflamed or they have inflammation, because usually it starts out with some form of inflammation with the prostate. If you steep the onion overnight and drink it, that helps with the prostate, and it also helps with bringing up inflammation that could be in the lungs as well. It dissolves blood clots. Onion oil blocks cancerous growth. It's an expectorant. It's an antibacterial, an antifungal, and immune system builder. It also has many functions also that I may not have. I couldn't list everything, but this is, to start off with. Like I said, you guys can do your own research as well in terms of that. Ginger is good for releasing gas, heartburn. It enhances secretion of the digestive juices, nausea. It inhibits prostate cancer cells. It's also good for inflammation. It inhibits pathogenic bacteria, and it controls free radicals in the body. It's always good to use the fresh ginger. And there's so many different kinds of ginger. You know, the best one to use is organic ginger, but if you don't have that, you know, but try to get organic fresh ginger. Oregano. Graham mentioned oregano. Um, Oregano is very powerful, and this helped a lot of people that was having COVID. The oregano is very powerful. It's an antiviral. It's an immune system booster. It produces white blood cells. It defends against bacteria, fungi, and cancerous cells. It's good for travel. When before you travel, it's good to take some oregano. It protects it from parasites and foreign bacteria. I usually use oregano. I take it as well, and I use it also as a cleanser for the house, as a spray. I mix it with witch hazel, and I add water. And you could add other things too as well, like other essential oils, and spray to keep the air clean. And you can spray it on your clothes, and just spray it, you know, just to keep the place fresh and keep the air clean. It loosens congestion in the bronchioles, and it's also good for asthma and coughs. Like Graham said, it's very strong and powerful. So a lot of times you can mix it with you can mix it with a little juice. Some people put it under their tongue, but if you're not used to that strong burning sensation, you can mix it with a little juice or water and drink it. But it has shown to be very good in this whole thing with COVID. Normally you can just go on Amazon and order. They have different brands of the oregano oil. And also, not only the oil, you can also steep the fresh oregano. Some people just eat a few, take off a few buds off, and they just eat the oregano like that. And you can also steep it and make it into a tea. And these are things that you can do at home. You don't have to go get a tea bag and buy oregano tea. We usually have these things in our house that we cook with. So you can, you know, put a teaspoon or so and steep it and drink it. We have garlic, which is another natural antibiotic. It's an antifungal, an anti-parasite, an anti-worm, an antiviral, an anti-yeast. It helps destroy cancer. It's a blood thinner. It lowers blood pressure and cholesterol. And it's also good for conjunctivitis. Like Graham also talked about garlic, which I didn't realize, but I was reading someone that grows it that was saying the same thing about it's not going to grow. The ones that are sold, the ones that we buy out here, we can't do anything with that. It won't grow. So if it can't grow, that means it's no, you know, what is it going to do? And I was like, wow, that really shocked me when I read this person grows them, and you have to buy the organic garlic in order, if you want to grow it and reproduce. This stuff is deep in terms of our health and what we're buying and not even knowing. And supposedly we're buying healthy stuff. Turmeric is also very good. And it's always good to get the organic stuff, because even like how we're talking and with each other is good, that if you have a brand that's a powder that's very good, that you can recommend, because sometimes some of the powders are not good. They're not strong enough. It don't have, but then you do have certain brands that are very good. So it's always good to talk about these things and share the knowledge. Turmeric is an anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. It purifies the blood and the liver. It's good for gum infection. And I just put here to note that because in India, they use this so much, India has one of the lowest cancer rate in the country. It's also good for burns and diarrhea. Now, horseradish, I don't know if everyone is familiar with horseradish, but I came across, I wasn't familiar with it, but I came across horseradish when I was given a recipe for a natural antibiotic. And that's when I learned about horseradish. And this is also a very powerful natural antibiotic. It's from the mustard family, it's potent, and it's antibacterial. It clears sinuses, coughs, is good for bronchitis, sinus congestion, and a laxative. This sometimes is hard to find in grocery stores, like the natural horseradish itself. You may find that they may have it in the bottle, in the jar, like how they would have garlic. They may not have, you may have a hard time finding the actual root. So you have to like go on you may have to go to the Asian community to find the organic one. As I was coming up with this, I was saying I had liked the fact that I spoke about most of what's in this natural antibiotic remedy, which is apple cider. The replacement to this, you can use lemon juice. You can use lemon, but it may not last as long. It may not preserve as long. You use 1/4 cup of finely chopped garlic, 1/4 cup finely chopped onion, 2 fresh peppers, the hottest you can find. Graham was talking about peppers. This, I didn't mention, I didn't talk about peppers because that's like a whole other topic, but is different. You have the jalapeno peppers. The hottest pepper you can find is the best for this recipe.
Habaneros might do.
Right.
Habanero.
1/4, I think that's what I used when I made this. Me and my mother made this. 1/4 cup grated ginger. So with this, you'll combine all the ingredients in a bowl, except for the vinegar. Then you'll transfer the mixture to a mason jar, pour in some of the apple cider vinegar, and fill it to the top. It's best if 2/3 of the jar consists of dry ingredients and fill the rest with vinegar. Then you're going to close it and shake. Keep the jar in a cool, dry place for 2 weeks. Shake well several times a day. After 14 days, you're going to squeeze well and strain the liquid through a plastic strain. For better results, put a gauze over it. Squeeze well so that the whole juice comes out. Use the rest of the dry mixture when cooking. And your master tonic is ready for use. This is a very good mixture and is very powerful. And what I like is that you waste nothing. The stuff that's left, you can use that to cook with. So whatever you normally cut up these things to put in with what's left, you use that and you cook with your food. But this is very good. When you drink this and you have a cold or something like that, it wipes it out. But you have to do it when it's coming on. You can't wait till you have a full, I mean, it's still going to work, but sometimes you have to know your body. And if you feel something coming on, when you do these things, it just wipes it out right away instead of you letting it build up and build up. But this is also good as a tonic to take every day as well. So I just wanted to share this because this is something that I'm sure mostly everyone has in their house, maybe 1 or 2 ingredients left that you may not have, depending, that you could just make this and have this in your house at hand. If anyone comes down with a cold or respiratory condition, they can take this, or you can take it every day also just to strengthen the body. Activated charcoal is also something good to have in the home. It's good to detox the body. It's also good for this. It's also good, like with COVID, before you start, once you find out, it's always good to try to cleanse the body. Take something to kind of flush whatever's going on out, and then start taking your medication or what you're taking for the COVID. But it's always good to detox the body. It's good for food poisoning, chemical poisoning. My son had a little mishap the other day, and I made him take this to detox. It was like a chemical that he was exposed to, and I made him take the activated charcoal. It's good for insects bites. It's good for detox, like I said, during viral infections. What it does is that the toxin binds to the charcoal and you pass it through the body. So once you take charcoal, you have to drink a lot of water to flush it out the body. Cayenne pepper is also a natural antibiotic. It's very good. It expels mucus. It brings down fevers. It stops bleeding. It's good for blood clots. It's rich in vitamins and minerals. A half a tablespoon of cayenne pepper, a half a tablespoon of ginger, a half a tablespoon of lemon juice, and honey is optional. You mix it in 1 cup of hot water and it's good for a sore throat. You could also gargle 10 to 20 drops of cayenne infusion in water. So cayenne is very, very powerful for certain respiratory. It's also good for, like I said, blood clots, and it also stops bleeding. It's good for bleeding as well. So this is something good to have in the kitchen. And I would just say vitamins, like Graham mentioned, vitamin D is very important to have. Vitamin D3, I should have put D3 there because some people get mixed up and there's D2 and D3. D3 is what we need to be taking. The minimum is 5,000. Depending on your level, you can take more, anywhere from 5 to 20. It depends on your level, and also a lot of natural doctors tend to recommend a higher vitamin D level than regular medical doctors. Vitamin C as well, anywhere from 3 to 5,000. Now, with COVID, these can be increased. Like if you have COVID, you can increase it to anywhere from 1 to 5,000 milligrams. Vitamin B complex is also crucial. It's good for the nerves. A lot of times people would have a lot of anxiety during COVID, a lot of shaking and all these type of things. The vitamin B complex is good for that. Multivitamin and zinc. There's different types of zinc. Zinc glycinate to me is good on the stomach. I didn't really want to get too deep with the different names and stuff like that. And also, I forgot to mention ashwagandha also is very good for anxiety and depression. I don't know if a lot of people noticed in the stores when you go into CVS and stuff, they were displaying a lot of ashwagandha, especially Goli. Goli made a lot of money with the ashwagandha that they came out with, and they came out with the ones where that the kids like. I mean, it's okay, it's just that it has a little sugar in it, but my son was using it because my son had some anxiety when he was home during when there was no school, and he was taking that, and it was very good. And lastly, to just close up everything, to build your immune system, especially during COVID, you don't want to eat anything too heavy. So you want to have a light diet, and you want to get fresh air, and you want to walk every day. You want to get out and move your limbs. You want to walk. You want to breathe in that fresh air. Go to the park, walk. If you're in the house, it's always good to crack a window, but you have to expose yourself to fresh air and sunlight. For the darker people, we have to spend a little more time in the sun. But lighter people, maybe 15 to 20 minutes. Darker people, at least an hour and a half. But walking and getting fresh air is very important, and of course, adequate rest, and also a clean environment. These are some resources that I had here. One is my nursing Dictionary. The other one is the Lost Book of Herbal Remedies. And there's one book that I use, African Holistic Health. And then there's the Natural Healing Through the Laws of Health, which is Seventh Day group that teaches and do classes on natural health. They're very good. I have the website listed here. They're always doing classes. There is very informative. They teach you a lot on how to eat well, and they go over the laws of health. So thank you for having me.